1989 called, want their rifle back. Slightly upgraded A2, cheapest Walmart scope that I had sitting literally in my basement on a $10 leaper mount that I think I also had sitting in my basement from like 1985. Threw this together. Let's see if I can hit steel out at 100 yards from the sitting position. It was my stepdad's gun. I bought it when he passed. I bought it from my mother. And I've not really done anything with it. I've more, just kind of kept it around. So I've been playing with it a little bit. I added a new handguard. And so I went down into my basement, which if you're a gun person, you've got tons of crap sitting in your basement. I don't know, at least I do. And one of the things I have in my basement was I had a old Walmart special scope that I think was his also. And I had a Leapers carry handle mount. And so for some reason I couldn't get this thing to really shoot straight. And I don't know if it was me or it was a gun. And so I said, well, I'm going to throw a scope on here and see what's going on. And turns out it was just me. Hey guys, RDMF Jones here. So today we're going to talk about this right here. This right here is state-of-the-art tech from about 2002. Okay? This is a Bushmaster, real Bushmaster anyway. Back when they were in Windham, Maine, manufactured H-bar, heavy barrel, A2 style rifle. So I wound up with this rifle. Now my stepdad was a Vietnam veteran. Unfortunately, he's no longer with us. And he had a triangle handguard on here. And I wound up going with a Magpul. I replaced that triangle handguard and actually built up an A1 that it fits. So the triangle handguard really is an A1 handguard. But it is, other than that, Bushmaster's version of a Colt H-bar. Now, Colt H-bars, 20-inch barrels, okay? And they are considered by most to be extremely obsolete. We know this one is either pre-94 or post-2004 because it has a threaded barrel and it has a bayonet lug. Back during the assault weapons ban, which some of you watching this probably aren't even old enough to remember, in 2004, this was, they were verboten. You couldn't get, they would have this deleted and they would have this deleted. Okay, so these two parts right here would be deleted. See, this is theoretically obsolete because it is marked Bushmaster magnetic particle tested 5.56 NATO 1 in 9 H-bar. So it is a 1 in 9 chrome lined barrel in here. 1 in 9 is considered to be pretty obsolescent at this point. Most barrels are either coming with a 1 in 8 or a 1 in 7. This is something that changed in early 2000s was really when it started. And you don't really see a lot of rifles that are shipping with 1 in 9s anymore. One of my first ARs that I ever got was a 1 in 9. But remember, that's pretty much set up to run 55 grain FMJs, your standard stuff. But a 1 in 7 or a 1 in 8 will also run 55s, but it'll also run the heavier bullets, the 62s and the 77s. So a lot of barrels today are shipping with a 1 in 8. To have a 1 in 9 is kind of not cool anymore. And even worse than that is that these heavy barrels, these H-bars, that thing is full profile underneath this handguard. So that means it's stupid heavy. It's heavier than the government profile barrel. And the thought was that it would give you better accuracy, you'd get better accuracy with it, whatever. One of the things that I kind of always envisioned this is I would shoot it from positions, I would practice sitting. So it's got a Turner Saddlery 1903 style sling on it, designed for target shooting because it's H-bar. It's kind of a heavy barrel and it's heavy, so it's a good target gun. CMP competitors love these things. So you can see that your height over bore to the open sights is about right, but if you put this glass on here, holy crap, you have absolutely no cheek weld. You have a chin weld. In fact, the early ARs of this style that they shipped for law enforcement purposes, they were selling them as like sniper rifles. They actually made a piece that goes over this A2 stock that allows that cheek weld to get higher. I didn't have that, nor do I really want it. So went out with this, and literally this scope is the center point. It is absolute. You can tell the difference, okay? It is not a great scope at all. And I got decent glass. I've always kind of prescribed to get pretty decent glass. But this, I think, was his too, and it was literally like sitting in my basement, like it was part of a box of stuff. So I just threw it on there to see what happened, and I did pretty good. 55 grain Hornady soft point hand loads, which is what I have. That's kind of my standard thing. It's a relatively mild tack load with mixed NATO brass, nothing fancy. I shot a 1.7 MOA group with this. So 1.7 MOA, that's 2-inch gun. That's pretty decent for not messing with ammo, just running kind of out of the box stuff. That's 6 rounds into 1.7. Okay, the military standard for these was 4 MOA. 4 inches at 100 yards is the military standard. This one is 1.7, and that's not trying. That's not working up a hand load, because to be honest with you, I don't love this setup at all. But I was just kind of interested to see what it would do. So the question is, could you actually like cobble together some Walmart ass scope, cheapest stuff you can get a hold of? This whole setup up here, if it costs $100, that'd be a shock. And throw it on an old H-bar and still get decent accuracy? And the answer is, yeah. And can you still actually use it, like, more realistically? Maybe not off a bench, but from a sitting position. Well, I got some footage of that, and we'll roll that in right now. You see I have absolutely no cheek weld here. None. I really kind of prefer the open sights on this setup. I don't really like the optic. In fact, as you can see, it was bashing me in the head because you can look underneath here and actually pick up the iron still, but it was hitting me in the head. Okay, so not a huge fan. Do I think that are these still viable? Like, if you've got an older H-bar, or is something like this still viable today, like 90s tech? And the answer is yeah. It's still a decent gun, and I had a lot of fun with it. And do you need to spend a bunch of money on a trigger? Probably not. I still did pretty good work with it. Do you need to spend money on a bunch of money on a piece of glass? It helps. I'm not gonna lie. I shot 100 rounds through it today. Shot it from positions, so I wasn't relatively nice to it. I was flapping it around. It was smacking on the buttstock. I'm on the ground with it. I'm not, sitting on a bench and just carefully taking it out of the case. It held up fine for that, and I shot 100 rounds through it, no problem. One thing you do have to be worried and kind of cautious about: the AR-15 has standardized over the years, and now almost everybody makes a pretty good one. Like, it's probably going to work right out of the box. Older DPMSs, Bushmasters, they were not built to the same standard. This one started to choke on me after about 100 rounds in. Not sure what's going on. Yep. We're gonna give her hell. She's dirty. Dead trigger. Huh. Let's try some iron sights. Okay, so it does shoot. Not sure what I've got going on with some malfunctions, but I'll get in there and clean it up because they're coming out filthy. Could have been the ammo, Sure, could have been. I haven't necessarily been super up on the maintenance on this thing, so could have been that. The AR-15 has been standardized. Everybody pretty much does the same thing, from the cheapest PSA to the highest Smith & Wesson as far as reliability goes, because this is also pre-internet, really. I mean, you might get on a gun forum like I did back in them days and hear this is good, this is bad, but Bushmaster was the manufacturer, man. That was like everybody had a damn bushy. So this was like super common tech. Really, when the war on terror happened, the rifle started to standardize on reliability. So you always take a risk buying an older AR like this, that it may not be as reliable as something you can buy cheaper today new. Does it compare to a fully modernized full bolt varmint rifle like this one, varmint target gun? Hell no. This, with a hand load that I've worked up with 77 grain bullets, so the heavier bullets that go and reach farther and hit harder and really change the game on 223. With this rifle, I can put 10 shots into 0.7 MOA pretty much all without a whole lot of trouble. Okay, and that's from the floating bipod, 24-inch heavy barrel. You know, you may be able to shoot better than that, but buddy, I'm telling you right now, this is what I can get. Okay, it's got a Timney trigger, Magpul PRS stock. This is like modern day stuff. With something like this, that's what you're paying for, is that extra accuracy. Out of the box, I don't think you're going to get much better. 1.7 is pretty good for just a standard accuracy on a box off the shelf AR. Remember, this back in the day was awesome. Like, this was also like $800 back in the day, and that was back when I made 12 bucks an hour. Okay, like, this was like awesome. ARs were not the same game back in the day when I started shooting as they are now. So this is awesome, state of the art for 20 some odd years ago. Nowadays, you can probably buy better off the shelf for $500 bucks. Quick history lesson, kind of a little experiment. Figured I'd talk about it. Kind of enjoying it, shooting off position, stuff like that. So that's it. If you like this kind of stuff, I don't care. If you want to subscribe, I don't care. So I don't do any of this for you. I do it for me. Thanks. All right, try it with open sights. I can hit it, but I'm literally hitting the my face on the scope. What the fuck? Okay. You know, if I was really fat, I couldn't do this. So the sitting position is challenging for those of us that are more portly than others. Single one was a hit. Let's go look. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm counting 10. So yeah.